the wrong door in the universe. Humanity's first contact with the wider galaxy did not begin with a war, a prophecy, or a heroic last stand. It began with a navigation error. The exploration vessel Wayfarer 3 was supposed to perform a short-range jump barely 5 light-years, testing a newly refined Alcubierre adjacent drive. The math was clean. The margins were safe. The crew was bored enough to argue about coffee rations instead of existential terror. Then space folded wrong, stars elongated into impossible threads, sensors screamed in languages no human had programmed, and the jump ended, not in empty interstellar dark but in the middle of a perfectly ordered traffic, lattice glowing with imperial sigils. Thousands of ships hung in formation, not drifting, not maneuvering, waiting. Captain Elena Park stared at the main display, blinking slowly. Status report. Lieutenant Rao swallowed. We are currently occupying restricted transit volume of what appears to be a very large empire. How large? Park asked. Rao zoomed out. The tactical map kept expanding, and expanding, and expanding. The Galactic, he finished. A silence settled over the bridge. Not fear, not awe, but the heavy pause of professionals realizing they had parked a forklift inside a cathedral. Moments later, a transmission slammed into their comms, overriding every frequency at once. The signal carried layers of encryption so dense it made Earth's best systems look like children's toys. A voice emerged, resonant, precise, ancient. Unidentified vessel. You have breached the sovereign transit vein of the Varelian Ascendancy. Power down. Await classification. Resistance will be met with existential correction. The bridge crew exchanged glances. Chief Engineer Morales leaned back in her chair. Well, that sounds unfriendly. Captain Park tapped her console, sending a calm, unencrypted reply. This is the human exploration ship Wayfarer 3. Apologies for the intrusion. Our navigation system appears to have taken a shortcut. There was a delay. On the far side of the void, Varelian command intelligences re-evaluated reality because the ship before them was wrong. It carried no imperial transponder, no psychic shielding, no ceremonial hull markings. Its weapons were primitive, kinetic rails and fusion, cores barely fit for border patrol duty. And yet, it had arrived. Not via a gate, not via permission, not via ritualized Empire-sanctioned transit. It had simply appeared inside the Ascendancy's most secure spatial artery, a region no unauthorized vessel had entered in 60,000 cycles. Another transmission arrived, colder this time. Human vessel. State your allegiance. Your species is not registered within known client civilizations. Captain Park shrugged, sipping her coffee. None. We're independent. Still figuring things out, honestly. On the Varelian flagship, admirals froze. Independence was not a status. It was a defiance. Scanners probed deeper, searching for hidden fleets, cloaked armadas, reality anchors, anything that could explain this casual violation of imperial law. They found nothing. Just a small ship, a flawed drive, and a species that had stumbled into a galactic empire and hadn't bothered to be afraid. Far from Earth, humanity had opened the wrong door in the universe and politely stepped inside. Bureaucracy is the strongest weapon. The Varelian Ascendancy did not panic. It convened a committee. Within seconds of the human ship's arrival, 7 submines, 3 elder admirals, a ritual compliance engine, and 1 semi-sentient legal construct were activated aboard the flagship Crown of Unending Rule. This was standard procedure. When reality behaved incorrectly, the humans waited. On the bridge of Wayfarer 3, Lieutenant Rao was quietly cataloging alien hull designs. You know, he said, zooming in on a kilometer-long cruiser bristling with weapons that curved in non-Euclidean angles. If these guys wanted us gone, we'd already be gone. Captain Park nodded, which means they don't know what to do with us yet. That more than the guns made her relax. A new transmission arrived, not a threat this time, but a request. Human vessel. Remain stationary. You are hereby placed under provisional anomaly review. Morales raised an eyebrow. That sounds bureaucratic. Everything powerful is, Park replied. On the Imperial side, confusion spread like a controlled fire. The legal construct attempted to classify humanity. It failed. They were not a pre-FTL civilization, not a sanctioned explorer caste. Not a hidden elder species. Not a weaponized client race. Their technology was crude. Yet their drive physics violated established imperial limits. Their communications were unsecured, yet impossibly confident. Most troubling of all, they showed no signs of submission protocols. No fear pheromones. No reverence markers. No instinctive deference to authority. The ascendancy had conquered species that screamed, begged, or resisted. It had never encountered one that simply waited patiently. A holographic projection appeared on Wayfarer 3's bridge. A tall, faceted being of crystalline flesh and flowing light. High Adjudicator Threxil, voice of imperial law. Human captain, Threxil intoned. By all known statutes, your presence here is impossible. Park smiled politely. We get that a lot. Threxil's facets dimmed. You will submit your vessel for inspection. Sure, Park said. On one condition. A ripple of alarm passed through the Imperial command network. Conditions were demands. Demands implied leverage. Threxil hesitated. State it. No disassembly of our drive, Park said. You can look, scan, ask questions. But if you take it apart, we won't get home. The adjudicator processed this. The humans were negotiating. Inside sovereign space. Without permission. And somehow this felt reasonable. Agreed, Threxil said at last. Inspection drones surrounded Wayfarer 3, bathing its hull in light. They mapped alloys, counted crew, measured energy flows, and flagged hundreds of safety violations by Imperial standards. And yet, the drive core sat at the center like a paradox. Unstable, inefficient, and capable of punching through restricted space-time, like a careless finger through wet paper. A junior Varelian analyst whispered a forbidden thought into the command net. If this is accidental, what happens when they try on purpose? Back on the human ship, Morales watched the readings scroll by. They're freaking out, she said cheerfully. Captain Park exhaled. Humanity hadn't fired a shot, hadn't threatened, hadn't boasted, and already, the galaxy's greatest empire was rewriting its rulebook just to make room for them. The empire adjusts its expectations. The Varelian ascendancy prided itself on permanence. Empires rose, client species rebelled. Stars aged into red ghosts, but the ascendancy endured because it adapted, only after absolute certainty. Laws were carved into tradition, and tradition into reality itself. Humanity disrupted that process in less than 6 hours. The inspection concluded with no arrests, no sanctions, and no executions, an outcome so rare it triggered internal audits across 3 sectors. High Adjudicator Threxil reconvened the committee, this time with a new category flagged in crimson glyphs. Unintentional transgression, potentially recurring. The humans waited again. Captain Park reviewed the latest transmission while sipping reheated coffee. They're escalating, she said calmly. Diplomatically. Lieutenant Rao leaned closer. That sounds better than militarily. Only because bureaucracy takes longer to kill you, Morales replied. A formal audience was declared. Not a summons. Not an arrest. An invitation. The ascendancy had decided that if reality insisted on producing humans inside restricted space, it would at least understand why. A projection chamber formed around Wayfarer 3, unfolding like a cathedral of light. Threxil appeared once more, now accompanied by representatives of military doctrine, scientific authority, and imperial philosophy. You have violated laws older than your species, Threxil said. Yet you did so without malice, preparation, or awareness. Explain. Captain Park chose honesty. We built a drive to go faster, she said. It worked better than expected. That's kind of our thing. The chamber rippled. One of the scientists spoke, unable to restrain itself. You did not model sovereign space rejection fields. We didn't know they existed, Morales said. Still don't know how they didn't stop us. That admission struck harder than defiance ever could. The ascendancy's fields were not merely technological. They were symbolic, reinforced by the belief of a million worlds that the Empire was unbreachable. Humanity had not challenged that belief. It had ignored it. Threxil's voice softened, an almost imperceptible shift. If your species continues exploration, similar incidents will occur. Park nodded. Almost certainly. A long silence followed. Then Threxil spoke the words no imperial voice had spoken in recorded history. Then the ascendancy must account for you. New statutes began writing themselves in real time. Transit veins reclassified, anomaly corridors designated, a provisional label applied to humanity, unaffiliated navigators level unbounded. It was not citizenship, not vassalage, not alliance. It was something unprecedented. Before disengaging, Threxel delivered a final message, private, unrecorded. Human captain, it said. Empires fall when confronted by forces they cannot predict. Tell me this, do your people seek dominion? Park considered the question carefully. No, she said. We seek to understand what's out there. And sometimes we trip over it. The projection faded. Moments later, Wayfarer 3 was escorted, not expelled, toward the edge of Imperial space, its path carefully cleared. Behind them, the Varelian Ascendancy updated its star maps, and beside 1,000 ancient warnings a new note was added. Caution. Humans may arrive without meaning to. The galaxy would never look at accidents the same way again.